Hi, everybody. Happy Wednesday. How are you? I am so excited to be here with you live. I missed you guys last Wednesday. When you're here, say hello. Let me know that you're here. I'm really excited about this topic today. There's so much that has been going on and so many things that I want to talk to you about. I'm just really excited. So when you're here, say hi, let me know, and I will type hello in the comments below in a minute as well. Oh, hi, Heather. Hi, Sarah. Hi, hello. See, it's not even showing me that anybody joined, so I'm glad that you guys said hi. Hi, Nina. Hello. Nice and relaxed, right? Nice and tan. I was out on the river a lot, and that was a lot of fun. I've basically been kind of digital nomading it for 2 weeks, working from a couple of different places while I travel around, and that's been a lot of fun, but I'm really glad to be back now. Hi, Emily. I missed you guys last week. So there was no live last week because I was in the middle of traveling. But I referred you to my podcast, and I hope you guys have been listening. How many of you have been listening to my podcast? How many of you are loving it? I love it. And it's not just because it's my podcast. I have really gotten some great guests, and I'm in love with the interviews. In fact, I will say that episode 4 of the podcast that just came out yesterday, which was Tuesday, by far like one of my favorites. I recapped some stuff from my interview with Paul Brunson. And if you guys don't know Paul, make that change right away. Like, he's in the group. He's in the All In Entrepreneur because he's amazing. Listen to his episodes. There are some huge takeaways. Some we're going to talk about today. Hi, Missy. Hello. So what we're talking about today are 3 things to get fully booked, right? 3 things I did to get fully booked. 3 things I did to hit 6 figures in the first year of my business, but it doesn't really matter what your results are that you're wanting. 6 figures, not 6 figures, 7 figures, 3 figures, whatever it is, that fully booked speaking engagements, whatever, this will work for that. So how many of you, like, what is your goal right now? Hi, Belinda. Hi, Cassie. What's a goal that you guys have in your business right now? Is it to get more clients? Is it to be fully booked? Is it to get 1 client? Maybe I have a couple of clients who are just starting and they're like, Rita, I just really want 1 client. That's what I want. I really want my first client. Some people want paid speaking. Some people want more free speaking. So, like, what are some things that you're kind of working on in your business? You guys are gonna have to forgive me. I haven't been on video. The joy of podcasting is that I can record it without makeup and in my pajamas. And so I've forgotten what it's like to be on camera. But tell me what a goal is that you guys have in your business. We're going to talk today about how you can reach that goal. And this all came up kind of because of the podcast. That's why I'm talking about this, because it's like a ripple effect, right? Everything is like a domino effect. And so I had a client who I've been working with for a while. I shared about her in a post today. She was an instructional designer for 10 years for a Fortune 500 company. And basically what that is like e-learning, and they deliver, e-learning tools and platforms. And she left to start her own business to help other business owners deliver e-learning tools and things to their clients. And she left and she didn't have a client. And she wasn't getting a client, and so she hired me to help her get a client. And when she came to me, she had been trying to get her first client for a while, and she was really frustrated because she hadn't gotten her client, and she was kind of like, Rita, I think I'm gonna have to shut down or go back and get a job or something if I don't get a client soon. And so that whole story, I was telling somebody the story, and it tied in with what I did when I started my business. And then that happened to be mirrored back by Paul Brunson when I was interviewing him, especially on episode 3 of the podcast. If you haven't listened to episode 3, I think episode 3, besides episode 4, I think all of them are my favorite. But I'm being honest, like episode 3 is my favorite interview episode so far. Episode 4 is my favorite episode. But in episode 3, Paul said the same 3 things. So the 3 things that I had told this client to do, which changed the course of her business, were the same 3 things I did to change the course of my business, which happened to be the same 3 things that Paul brought up not anticipated on his interview, which happened to be the 3 things that Oprah was looking for whenever she was looking to see if like an entrepreneur is going to be successful or not. These same 3 things, and she saw them in Paul because that's what Paul was doing. And so the synchronicity of all of that was like, I need to tell you the 3 things, right? In fact, I wrote down, like, I said, look, I hired a business coach and I did these 3 things. And then Paul said he did these 3 things. And these are the same 3 things that Oprah looks for in seeing if you're going to be successful as an entrepreneur or in business. So you guys should know these 3 things, right? So how many of you want to know what the 3 things are? And I see that Beth says she wants more clients and ongoing repeating work. So Beth, would you love to just get 1 more client? Would you love to be fully booked? Would you love to have a steady stream of clients, right? I think the more specific you are, right, instead of just more clients, it's like, I want 5 clients, or I want to be fully booked and that's 6 clients, or I would like 1 more client for this kind of offering, right, to create it. But this topic is big, right? And I knew it was big whenever it came up like 18 times in 1 week. And that when that happens, I'm like, there's a reason that this keeps coming up, and it's because I need to tell all of you. And so I talked about it in episode 4 of my podcast, but I know, unfortunately, not all of you are podcast listeners. Although if you are, please listen to it and leave a review, because every month I'm going to pick a winner from people who have left a review and give you free coaching, give you a free coaching session. But I thought I'd bring it up here too in a slightly different way. So I'm going to tell you what these 3 things are that I did, that I told my client to do, that Paul did, and that Oprah looks for. How many of you want to hear, you know, what they are? Tell me, say yes in the comments. I need to know you guys are alive, right? On Monday, I asked you guys what your strategies are. So Beth, you just said you want more clients and you want ongoing and repeating work. And for everybody else who's watching, whatever your goal is, what are your strategies to get more clients right now, or to get the thing you want? Maybe you want speaking, maybe you want more clients, you want to be fully booked, whatever it is. What are your strategies right now for it? Are you using social media? Are you speaking? Are you emailing? Are you doing direct outreach? Are you doing Facebook Lives? Like, share some of your strategies with me. What are some of your strategies? Well, Beth, I'm very glad that you subscribed to my podcast. I would love for you to listen. Even if you just click the download cloud next to the episode, if you're on iTunes, that would help me, but I would hope that you would listen. Hi, Charvette. Hello. Hi, Katie. Katie, hi. Hi, Bonnie. Hello. Katie wants money from events. So, Katie, what are you doing? What are your strategies? Tell me a little bit around that. Heather wants 5 clients for their whole house, just a whole house interior design, and at least 5 homes for decoration for the holidays. So what are your strategies, guys? What are some of your strategies for getting these things? What tools, what ways, what methods are you using? Are you networking? Are you so networking, speaking, vendor tables, writing articles, being on podcasts, having your own podcast, doing Facebook Lives, all of it, none of it? Like, tell me what some of your strategies are. So Beth says social media, LinkedIn, in-person networking, speaking. Okay. Anybody else? Anybody else? And so Beth, you're doing all of those things right now, right? Social links. Like, I want to know specifically what you guys are doing right now. And also, for those of you who are watching, what I'd love to know is, what's something you've tried that you let go of because you're like, it didn't work. So maybe you posted in other people's Facebook groups. Maybe you had your own Facebook group. Maybe you sent a newsletter. Maybe you spoke. And you just stopped because you're like, that's not working. So I would love to know what some of those things are too. Hi, Dee Dee. Katie says, I've hosted events and then pitched working with me at the end, but I'm not great with following up. So Katie owns her weakness. I'm not great with following up, right? I've also been doing some Facebook Lives. Either way, you gotta be good at follow up, right? You gotta follow up is important, right? Beth is like, oh, and hosting events. Okay, Ella. Beth is like, oh, and I'm also hosting events, and I'm also hosting webinars, and I'm also, right? Now, how well are all of these things going for you? Like, what's working well, what's not working well, right? So Katie's like, yeah, I was hosting events, but I wasn't following up. And so it might not be that the event wasn't working well, is that my follow-up isn't working well, right? Beth, you're doing all of these things, but you say you still want more clients and you want more consistent clients, right? And Beth and I have talked a little bit too, one-on-one, and so I know that that's something you want. So you're doing all of these things, but how well is any one thing working? And that's what I want to know from anybody who's watching, right? Heather says plan to do Facebook Lives, also met with a realtor, oh yeah, that's good. Building fill-in homes, introducing to, yeah, so you're going after kind of the golden geese, right? That could get you multiple at one time, which is nice. Katie hates social media, right? Yeah, that's cool. It's fine to know what you like and what you don't like. I'm not, you know, you might not want to do social media. That might not be something, Katie, that you really want to do. Meeting the right people makes a big difference. Yeah. So, okay. So how many of you saw the story that I shared about my client today? How many of you read that? Yes or no? And I'm not going to retell the whole thing. But how many of you saw that story about my client, the instructional designer? Did you guys read that? I'm going to recap it a little, so no worries. I'm not going to make you go find it and read it or anything like that. I'm not going to make you read a post. That would, why? When you can listen to me talk about it on my new podcast, the Rita Made Me Do It show. Or you can watch me right here on my weekly Facebook Lives, right? Okay, so Katie says no, Heather says yes. So I have a client. I've been working with her for about 6 months. She just renewed for another 6 months. But she contacted me because she had quit her job in corporate America doing instructional design. She'd done that for 10 years, and she wanted her own client for her own instructional design business. And she had been frustrated because she wasn't getting one. And she finally contacted me, and she was like, Rita, I just want my first client. And I said, well, what have you been doing to get clients? And she named a lot of the same things you guys did, right? She's like, I've been asking people to get on the phone with me. I've been posting on social media. I've been doing educational value-filled posts and Facebook Lives, and I'm networking, and I have vendor tables, and she'd been doing a lot in a little amount of time, right? And then I said, well, what are your ways of working with you? How can people work with you? And she said, there's one way that people can work with me. It's like all or nothing, right? Because this is it. I want this premium. I want to be a premium offering. I want to be the high end. I want to be the premium. And so this is the way that they can work with me. They need the whole enchilada, and it needs to be this thing. Okay, so those were the two pieces of information I got from her, that she'd been doing all the things and that she had one way of working with her. And I said, okay, so you haven't had a single client, and you've been doing all of these things. And she's like, yeah. I said, well, what do you think it is that's keeping you from getting your client? And she said, well, they don't want to pay me the high rates. They don't, that's it. How many of you have felt like that? Like, oh, the reason that I'm not getting the clients I want, or the number of clients I want, or the first client that I want, is because nobody wants to pay me the rate that I'm charging, right? Like, I want to be fully booked, but I can't find people that want to pay my rate. Or I want my first client, but I can't find people who want to pay my rate. Or I want to be a paid public speaker, but I've never been paid to speak because I can't find people that want to pay my speaking rate, right? Like, so that's what she said, right? She's like, okay, I can't find the person. Everybody's like, this sounds great, but nobody wants to pay me my rate, so I don't have a client. And I said, okay, but I knew that wasn't true, right? I knew. She's like, Rita, I would do anything for a client. I would do anything to have a client. I said, really? She's like, Rita, I'm doing all of these things. And I said, well, why don't you just go out and get a client? And she was like, are you not listening to me, Rita? Like, she was really, are you not? I just told you I'm doing everything to get a client. Nobody wants to pay me. I said, no, go get a free client. Go offer to do it for free for somebody. And she's like, Rita, I can't afford that. I can't afford to have a free client. And I said, well, I don't get it. Why not? She's like, Rita, you're not listening. If I don't get paid clients, I'm going to have to go back and get a job. And I said, but here's the thing. You don't have a client, and so you're not making money. And so you're still not making money, right? If you go get a free client, that doesn't change. You're still not making money. Like, we haven't changed that. But now you have a client, right? And here's the value of having a client, right? Even if they're not paying for the service. Having a client did a lot of things for her. The reason was, when I really dug with her, she wasn't really asking people to work with her. like directly. She wasn't like, so what do you want to, what do you say? Do you want to hire me as your instructional designer? And she was not with like the energy and the confidence that she really needed, telling people, look, I will change your business. Like hiring me to do this thing and deliver these tools on these e-learning platforms will fundamentally change your business, and you will achieve the results that you're wanting to achieve if you hire me. Like those were things she needed to say, right? But she wasn't saying them because she had never really had a client to give her the evidence that that's true. Now she knew it, right? She conceptually knows it. She knows that when she had done it for her business, for her company before. So she knows that when they hire her, right, it's going to change the game for their business, but she couldn't say it with real authority and belief because she hadn't had a client yet to have that happen. Does that make sense? Here's the other thing that I see with people who are just starting. So I don't know how many of you are just starting, but if you're just starting, please, if you're watching on replay or whatever, say yes, right? So other people are like, look, I want to be fully booked. I'm like, cool, how many clients do you need to be fully booked? Just go get some free clients. Like, go get free clients. You have 5 paid clients and you need 3 more to be fully booked. Go get 3 free clients so that you're fully booked. So you can say, I'm fully booked and I have a waiting list, right? Because that's going to create urgency to work with you again. That's going to create more people like coming your way for paid. If you want to know what it's like to really be fully booked, if you want to understand what your day feels like and how you can handle it and what it's like to have a full client load with a wait list, go get a full client load with a wait list, right? Even if that means taking on some clients that aren't paid. So I had somebody the other day who's starting say, Rita, I have trouble because I can't really say, well, when I work with clients or I help clients to, or when I'm working with all of my clients or when I'm fully booked or what, because I've never had that before. And I feel like I'm lying when I say stuff like that. And I'm like, well, because you kind of are, right? If you haven't had clients, if you haven't been fully booked, then don't say, well, when I work with clients, because you've never had one. And don't say when I'm fully booked because you've never been fully booked, right? But just go get the clients and just go get fully booked so that you can say it. You can say it with confidence, right? Katie's like, I've had clients, but haven't had a coaching client since January. So it's been a minute, right? Heather says, oh, you have to. I flat out asked a guy at my meeting to introduce me to these other, the golden geese. Yeah, to these other 2 that he knows. Beth is like, not my issue. I think I actually need to do what I teach people to do. Yeah, that's a completely different topic I've talked about before as well, congruence, right? But I also do believe that if people are saying that they have open spots and they want clients, there is something there around the belief in yourself to ask for something. So either you've had clients, but you've never had clients at the full rate that you really want, or you've had clients, but not for the package that you want, or you've had clients for, so there's something there, right, that I can dig in individually. But in this particular instance with this client, she started a circle, right, where she had never had a client. So same thing for if you want to be a paid speaker, or if you want to fill your group coaching program, but you've never run a group coaching program before, or whatever the thing is that you want. You want to be on the media, but you've never been on the media. You know, like you want to do a podcast, but you want to be on a podcast, but you've never been on a podcast, whatever that thing is, right, that you want. So for her, it was a client. Well, because she had never had a client, what happened was she didn't really have the full belief. She conceptually felt she knew she could make a difference, but you don't know it until you've done it. You don't know it until the results have happened. You don't fully really believe it, know it, until you've made an impact in that person's life in the way that you want, and you've seen the results come to fruition that you want for that person, right? So you can know it without knowing it. So she didn't really know it, and because she didn't really know it, she wasn't confidently and with the energy level that you need, that energetic match. You have to be an energetic match for what you want, right? She wasn't really able to be that energetic match to get that client for the high premium package that she wanted, because she never had a client. So no client meant no evidence, and no evidence meant no confidence to then ask for the sale, or to ask for it with the right energy. And she might think she had the right energy. We always do, but I guarantee you don't. And so she didn't. She thought she sounded confident. She thought she sounded certain. She thought she sounded sure, but she really wasn't, because she had that internal thing of like, I'm an imposter. Who am I to be? I've never had a client before. No one's going to pay $25,000 for a year for me to create this and deliver this, like, because nobody had before, right? So and she didn't have the results, the data to back it all up. So no client, no evidence, no belief, no confidence to ask, or to ask in the right way to get the client at the premium rate, which just led to no clients because she wasn't really asking, or asking in the right way, right? So do you see the circle? So what I told her was, to break the circle, you need to get a client and get one for free. And that's when she's like, well, Rita, I can't afford a free client because I need money. And I'm like, but you don't have money anyway. So if a client is the one thing that will get you paid clients, then we need to do that sooner than later, right? And that's what I meant when I shared that she said she was impatient for clients, but that wasn't true. She was impatient for what paid clients would bring her, right? She wanted the money, she wanted the business, she wanted to have a full client load, she wanted to have full days and be making an impact and working with the clients, and she wanted the freedom and the flexibility and the travel and the money and all the things into her life that would bring. She wasn't impatient for clients. If she had been impatient for clients, she would have just gone out and gotten free clients, right? And that would have been taken care of, check, right? She was impatient for everything that paid clients would bring. But the thing was, her impatience for the results of what paid clients would bring was exactly what was keeping her from the results. Does that make sense? Her impatience for results was the exact thing that was creating non-results. I will say that impatience for results was the thing that was keeping her from results. And I have seen this in all kinds of things. Impatience to be a paid speaker is the exact thing that is keeping you from being a paid speaker, because I've seen so many people say, well, I'm not going to speak for free. If I speak for free, no one's going to pay me to speak. Not true, right? Or I've seen people say, well, I'm not going to blah, blah, blah because I want this thing and I'm impatient for it. So I'm not going to take anything else but this. But like, that's the thing that's keeping you from the results that you want, right? So for the results, right, like you need to sometimes you have to step into the thing that's not the thing. Does that make sense? Like, so if you want a full client load, but you're like so impatient for it, what happens is you're making bad decisions. You're making decisions from a place of impatience, from wanting the results, wanting the money, wanting the clients, and not really the decisions that are in the best interest of your business, right? So one example of that is if you just want your first client. Maybe you just want your first client, and so you're so impatient for your first client, your first paid client, or your first premium client, or at that premium rate, that you're not accepting a free client for the premium offering, or you're not accepting free client in general, or you're not filling. My first group coaching program I filled for free, right? I wanted to run a group coaching program. I wanted to be able to say that I ran it. I filled it for free. I didn't have paid people in my first group coaching program, but I got value because they gave me testimonials. They gave me that confidence to be able to say I'd run the group coaching program before, that I had a full group. There's so much value that comes that's not monetary when you do this, right? But so one thing, right, for people is, okay, so I want, I need to step into just taking free clients, just taking pro bono, or taking free speaking, or taking free whatever you want, because that will be the thing that brings you the thing the fastest. Does that make sense for people? Katie's like, if I've gotten people to pay higher prices, isn't it energetically bad to then offer coaching for free? No, no, right? Like, because you have to remember that sometimes the value of what you're getting, you're still getting value. Sometimes you're getting more value, right? Like, if I have been charging $500 for my coaching, and now I want to create a different package that's like a $1,200 a month package or something, and I've never had somebody at it, so I'm not feeling comfortable saying, hey, and now my coaching package is this much money, and like, go ahead and hire me at it, right? Like, I'm never going to find that person at that rate till I fully believe that like that rate works for me, that I'm a match for that rate. So I might just offer one person and say, hey, like, I want you, I'm changing my package a little and I'm upping my rates, and I would love for you to be my complimentary client for this, but in exchange I want feedback. I want almost like a mini focus group. I want you to give me an interview. I want you to give me a testimonial. The value of me being able to say, and I've worked with a client already who has paid me $12.50 a month for this coaching package, right? Like that is so valuable compared to me saying, and no one's in my head thinking, no one's actually paid me $12.50 for this yet. I'm going to say I want $12.50, but no one's actually paid it. So I wonder if people will, and I doubt that people will, and I wonder if it's really worth it. Am I going to deliver enough value to make it $12.50? I don't know, right? Do you see how that's the loop that's going on in your head, right? Just having a person and saying, I'm still getting $12.50 in value, right? They know it's a $12.50 coaching package. They know that they're getting this for $12.50 a month. Like they know it. They're just not paying it from cash, but they're paying it in other ways. They're paying it through feedback, through focus groups, through information about what can make it better, what could really add to it. They're doing testimonials, they're doing interviews, they're allowing me to really document their case study. All of that is value, right? All of that is value. So it depends, Katie, on what's like holding you up. But that's one thing, right? That was one piece. So like when people say, Rita, what did you do to get fully booked? I took pro bono clients, right? Well, that's what Paul Brunson shared too. He said, look, in the first year of business, when I decided that I wanted to be a matchmaker, right now, this is not Rita talking, this is Paul Brunson talking. When I decided that I wanted to be a matchmaker, I spent 1 year of just doing due diligence. I read everything I could. I learned everything I could. I mentored with one of the top matchmakers, and I took pro bono clients. All of my, I had a full matchmaking coaching client load, all from pro bono clients, right? Because when you're starting, and this is really, especially when you're starting anything. So if you're starting your business, or you're just starting to speak, or you're just starting to try to step into paid speaking, or you're just starting whatever, your most important asset besides yourself is experience, right? Experience is the most important asset that you can have. It's only by having the experience that you can charge the premium, right? You can't really charge the premium until you have the experience. So I have this one other client who's starting, and she's like, Rita, I really want to run a group. I want to fill a group. And I'm like, great. Like, but she's like, but I can't market it the way I want to because I've never run a group before. So I can't say, well, when I've worked with people in this group, or what, I'm like, just go fill a group for free. Go do it, right? Because the experience of running the group once is going to be so much more valuable than just the money alone. It's going to be the thing that enables her to run a group at full price and get the money, right? From the testimonials and the case studies and the evidence and the belief and the being able to say it with confidence and all of that. So, but that's because experience, besides yourself, right? You are the most important asset in your business, you, right? Then experience, and then money, and then time, right? Those are the 4 most important assets in your business. So you are number 1. But experience is number 2. Experience is the most important asset. So many people are pushing off the experience because it's not coming in at the premium rate that they want. But it's really only by having the experience and having it at a certain level in a certain way that will allow you to charge the premium or allow you to do the thing. Does that make sense? So that's number 1, right? Number 1 is like, Rita, how did you fill your I got free clients. I filled my group for free, and I got, I took on free coaching clients for private coaching. I took on free group coaching clients. And the quicker I did that, the more I got the paid clients, right? Very quickly, by like the end of month 3, I had paid clients because I had decided to take all of these free, right? So experience is number 1. When I say what are the 3 things, number 1, get the experience. Get it any way you can. Get it as quickly as you can, even if it's not the way you thought you would be getting the experience. Does that make sense? Number 1. Number 2 is do one thing and do it well, right? So some of you are like, but Rita, I have clients and they pay me money and I just want more. I want more clients, which is why I asked, well, what are you doing to get clients? And you guys named a lot of things. Well, I'm posting on social media. I'm on Facebook, and I'm on LinkedIn, and I'm speaking, and I'm networking, and I have vendor tables. And how many of you have multiple strategies that you're out there doing to get clients? Yes or no? Multiple? Just say yes. Type yes in the comment. Like, are there multiple things you're doing to try to get clients? So you're on social media, you're also running events, you're also networking offline, you're also getting interviewed on podcasts. Maybe you have a podcast, maybe you're doing Facebook Lives. Like, how many of you are doing multiple things to get clients or to get the thing that you want, right? Because the second thing that I did to get fully booked and hit 6 figures as quickly as I did is the second thing that Paul also did, which is like chose one thing to get the results that we want and then did it extremely well. One thing. And this terrifies people, okay? It terrifies people to cut off all the other avenues and options for how you might get clients. If I say, okay, you want to get clients by running your own Facebook group, awesome. Only do that. Stop posting on LinkedIn. Stop tweeting. Don't be on Instagram right now. Go all in on Facebook and go all in on your group and learn how to do it and do it really well, right? You want to get clients by having your own podcast. Awesome. Stop doing all of the other things and do your podcast and learn how to podcast and learn everything about podcasting and do it extremely well, right? Like you want to do it by speaking, great. Learn everything you can about speaking for free and getting in front of audiences and converting in front of audiences from speaking and do it extremely well and stop all the other things. You want to send a newsletter, great. Learn all about newsletters and email marketing and do it extremely well and stop all the other things. How many of you does that terrify? If I were to say, do one thing to get your client, to get your thing, to get the thing you're after, your goal, and only do that and stop all the other things. How many of you kind of have like a little heart attack about that? Like, be honest, right? Because I did at the beginning. I was doing all of the things. I was networking. I was networking at a lot of groups. I was speaking. I was speaking to a lot of groups. I was on Facebook. I was on Instagram. I was sending out a newsletter. I was on Twitter. I had my vendor tables, right? I was doing a lot of things to market. But not only that, I was offering a lot of things. So how many of you are offering a lot of things? And this is what I mean by that. So Katie's like, yes, I'm doing a lot of different things. And Beth is like me, right? And Katie's like, yes, especially my last coach said not to do that. Not to do what? Not to do one thing or not to do all the things, Katie? Here's the thing. Here's the thing, like if you're doing a lot of things, you can only do it kind of okay, right? If I'm on Twitter and I'm on LinkedIn and I'm on Facebook and I'm sending a newsletter and I'm doing this and I'm doing that, I'm doing each one, but I'm kind of like a general practitioner of marketing, right? Like I'm learning about each one okay. I'm doing it okay. I don't have the time to get really great at one because I'm spreading myself so thin over everything else. Does that make sense? But if I went all in on one, and I got excellent at it, I would have way more of a return and way more results from getting excellent at one thing than being mediocre or kind of half-ass at a lot of different things, right? Because your results are equal to the action you take. So if I'm taking kind of okay action, mediocre action, half-ass action, just good enough action, then I'm going to get just good enough results, mediocre results, half-ass results, right? If I'm going all in and I'm doing that one thing excellent, and I am like really like quality excellent in the way that I'm doing that strategy and that thing, my results are going to be equal to that. My results are going to come back quality, excellent, high level results, right? And I don't think enough people really think this through. So they're everywhere because they want clients, they want more visibility. But by hopping around all the different places, you're not standing still long enough or in the best way for people to really see you. You're like over here one day and then you're over there one day and you're kind of there and then you're kind of not. You tweeted one day, but you didn't tweet 2 days later. You posted on LinkedIn, but you've been gone for a week. You posted in your Facebook group, but you disappeared for 5 days. Like you're so busy hopping around that nobody can really see you. So you think you're being super visible and you're really not being visible at all. You think you're doing everything, but you're really doing nothing. Does that make sense? Are you guys understanding that? But it's not just in your marketing, okay? It's not just in your marketing that this is important, right? To pick one thing and just do it extremely well because your results are going to be equal to the action, right? So if you're taking quality action, you're going to get quality level results, right? But it's also what you're offering. And here's what I mean. How many of you started your business or you're doing it now and you have a lot of different ways to work with you? So you have private coaching and you have a group coaching program and you have like an in-person event you do and you have done for you templates and you have some pre-recorded class and so maybe one day maybe you're like, you know what, I'm going to get a private coaching client. That's what I want. I want a private coaching client. So you start marketing for a private coaching client, but then like 1 or 2 days later or a week or two later, you're not getting your private coaching client. You're like, oh my God, this isn't working. I've been marketing for 2 whole weeks for a private coaching client and I haven't gotten one. So I think I'm going to do a group and I'm going to offer a group and I'm going to offer a group at like a lower rate, right? And maybe if I have private coaching and a group, then I can have some money and clients. Oh my God, you know what? Like it's taking me a while to get my one-on-one client and it's kind of taking a while to get a group. So I think I'm going to offer this recording and I'm just going to sell this recording so that I can make some revenue from the recording while I'm waiting to get the private client or the group. How many of you have been in a situation like this before? Maybe you're in it right now where you're offering a lot of different things or you're like, you know what, I'm going to get a private client. Oh, but I think I'm also going to offer this master class and I think I'm going to offer this happy hour and I think I'm going to offer this other thing and I think I'm going to also offer this, right? How many? Yes? No? Be honest, right? I did that at the beginning too. I had private coaching. I had my group coaching programs. I even created a course you will never hear me talk about ever again called 6 Weeks to Success. And 6 Weeks to Success was a pre-recorded course. Okay, it was a pre-recorded course. So this is what's happening, right? And so a lot of people are offering a lot. Katie's like, yeah, that's me, right? Like, Katie, I love your honesty. I love you. You're great, right? Here's the thing. All that does is send a signal out to the world that you don't trust that thing is going to work. So why would they trust that thing is going to work, right? Your energy, your belief, whatever you're putting out is what people mirror back. So if I'm like, I want a private coaching client and I start talking about working with me one-on-one, but then 2 weeks later, I'm like, oh, but I have a group. And then 2 days later, I'm like, but I'm doing this event. And another day later, I'm like, but I have this recording. And all I'm saying is I don't actually believe the one thing I started talking about is going to work. That's why I offered the second thing, right? Because if I really believed that the one thing was going to work, why would I talk about anything else? Why would I do anything else? If I really believed that that thing would work, I would put all my time, all my energy, and all my attention on it. So when clients come to me and say, I want a private client, and I start looking at what they've been doing for marketing before me, and it's like, yeah, they kind of marketed for a private client, but then they tried to hedge their bets, right? So they offered this other thing, or they offered this other option, or they offered this other. It's because they started doubting that it was going to work, right? Because for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever, which is not a lot, right? They were advertising for the kind of client they wanted and it wasn't coming quick enough and they got scared. And because they got scared and afraid that they weren't going to get the client, they offered something else. But all that does is send a signal to your audience, to the universe, to the world, that you don't believe in the thing you were first talking about. And so that's why you're hedging your bet with something else. But then you also then don't see the results coming in from that quick enough. So you offer something else. And this is like why I'm going to offer this way of working with me. And then 2 weeks later, but I'm offering this way. Oh, and now I'm doing a workshop. Oh, and now I'm doing a class. And now I'm doing this. And now, oh, I'm going to do weekly Facebook Lives. But wait, I'm not only going to, no, never mind. Not weekly Facebook Lives. Now I'm going to send a newsletter. Not newsletter. Catch me on Instagram. I'm going to start a Facebook group. Never mind. I'm shutting down the Facebook group. And I'm going to be posting over here. Like, all that does is send this signal to people that are watching you that you don't believe that the thing you intended to do would work. So why will they believe it, right? Does that make sense? So if I started saying private clients, and that's where my focus and attention is being fully booked with private clients, and then I start talking about a group before I filled my private coaching spot, all I'm really doing without realizing it is telling people, I don't actually think that's going to work. I don't actually think I'm going to get fully booked. I don't think anybody's going to take this last coaching spot. So I need to start talking about something else, right? Like I need to, are you guys getting that? Yes, no? Is that resonating with you? Give me some feedback. Like how is that landing? How is that landing with all of you, right? Where is the truth in that? That's the question that my coach always asks. where's the truth in all of this for you? But that's what I was doing, and I didn't realize it, right? So when you're jumping around in all the marketing ways, you're on Instagram, and you're doing videos, and you're doing Facebook Lives, and you're on LinkedIn, and you're all these places, all you're telling is, I don't actually believe that this one strategy that I picked to get clients is really going to work. Right? If I did, why wouldn't I put all my energy and time into it? If I believed that having a Facebook group is going to be what builds my business, then why wouldn't I put all my time and energy into it? If I believed it, that's where everything, my money, my time, my attention, it would all go there, right? When I start distracting myself from my Facebook group by saying, well, maybe I also need to post on Instagram. And then I'm like, well, maybe I also need to tweet, and maybe I need to send a newsletter, and maybe I need to, it's because I don't actually believe that the one thing I started with is going to work. And so if I don't believe it's going to work, why would it work? I'm going to create my own reality with that. Does that make sense? Katie's like, yep, resonating. Becca's like, for sure. Rajika's like, hello, girl. Hi. Right? You guys see that? So like, pick a strategy, yes, but go all in on it and be great at it and be excellent at it. Because when you do that, what you're saying is, and I believe in it. I believe. My mentor, Rita Goodrow, always says that. Rajika is one of my clients. She's one of my new clients. She's one of the clients that I said, go out and get some free clients, right? So that you can say you've had clients and you work with clients. Like, because that's going to be that's the first thing we talked about, Rajika, was the importance of experience and that being your most important asset, right? But pick one way and go all in on it and be great at it. If you can learn if Facebook is your way, if you're like, Facebook is how I'm going to build my business, awesome, great. Go all in on it. Learn every single feature of Facebook. If it's LinkedIn, great. Go all in on it. Learn every single, and put all your time, energy, and attention there and nowhere else, and you will get maximum results, right? The minute you start spreading yourself over all of these things before one thing has started working like a well-oiled machine. Now, I'm not saying you can't eventually do more. You wait, though. You do. If LinkedIn is your thing, go all in on LinkedIn. Learn every single feature. Learn how to use the publishing feature and learn how to use all the tools, all the analytics, all the things. And when you get really great at it and it's giving you results and it's kind of happening like a well-oiled machine, then add in another way and then add in another way. It's the same way that once you're getting private clients, right, and you are getting private clients with ease, and it's like you're always having people to replace the people that are dropping off, and you cool, then go all in on like starting a group, because you've got that like a well-oiled machine. So I'm not saying you're only going to do one thing forever. I'm saying before things start working like a well-oiled machine, everybody is spreading themselves too thin, right? So the second thing that I did, right, the first thing that I did to get fully booked and to hit 6 figures in less than a year was take free clients. By taking free clients, I got paid clients quicker, right? And number 2, I picked one thing to do. I was doing all the things to get clients. And I had lots of different offers. And I stopped it. And I said, no, never mind. I am only going to get sales calls. That was it. I was like, I just need people on the phone with me for a sales call. If I get people on a sales call, that's going to be my best way of converting people into clients, is by having a sales conversation with them. So all roads pointed, right, to getting on a sales call with me. But I narrowed that. It was like, but I can't do a million different things to get people to have a sales call with me. So the one thing I did was put out an offer to have 100 free calls with people. That was it. I said, look, I want to have 100 calls with people in 30 days. I want to have 100 1-hour calls. They were basically sales calls, right? I want to have 1-hour calls with people. And I said the point is to feel what it's like to be on the phone all day, is to talk to as many people about as many different things as I can, and is to get really good at having sales calls, because I knew that sales calls were going to be the best way to get clients. So I had to get excellent at having sales calls. I could do Facebook Lives and I could do other stuff, but I knew the best way to get a client was through a sales conversation. So I had to get excellent at having sales conversations. So that's all I studied and that's all I did. And I put that out there and I drove everything to these 100 calls. That was it. I just wanted 100 calls with people in 30 days. From that, right, because I had free clients at that point. So I had all my free clients. I technically was fully booked, right, with my free clients. And then I focused my strategy on just sales calls, getting 100 people to have a sales call with me. And that was it. And I used Facebook and networking online and networking offline, but still networking, to say, I just want a free call with people, have a free call with me. And from having 100 free clients, now I didn't actually have 100. I think only 80 ended up like following through. But I had 80 in 30 days. Guys, I had 10 paid clients within a month. 10 paid clients within a month from that, right? If I had spread myself over all of these different things, right? If I had spread myself over all of these different things, it wouldn't have been the same result. I wouldn't have had it, right? Do you guys see? So Paul, in episode 3 of my podcast, and again, I highly suggest, it was how he turned a YouTube video series into a multi-million-dollar business. So now we know that Paul started his foray into the matchmaking world, where he built the #1 matchmaking agency, right? By only taking free clients. So he took free clients for a year. Then he decided, I'm ready for paid clients. And he said, I could get paid clients a million different ways, right? There are a million things I could do. What he chose to do was a YouTube video series he created called The Modern Day Matchmaker. And he said, instead of doing all of these things and kind of doing the modern day matchmaker okay, and kind of doing all this other stuff okay, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do it well. I'm going to get a crew, and we're going to have some great camera equipment, and I'm going to really like learn editing and get people who know editing, and we're going to go out and do man on the street stuff. We're going to have scripts. Like I'm putting my time, my energy, and my attention on the one strategy that I'm picking to go get clients. And he didn't do anything else, right? That was it. So scary. Like some of you said, that's scary, right? Well, he did that, and he put out a few episodes. And only 11 people were watching the episodes. 11 people watched his episodes, right? And Paul said on the interview, I knew one was my mom, Rita. I knew one of the people was my mama, right? Like, I knew that. So 11 people were watching, one's my mom. So 10 people, he had like a couple of episodes out, 4 or 5 episodes, right? Maybe 6. And only 10 people were watching. He could have done what most entrepreneurs do at that point and go, this isn't working. How many of you honestly would do that? Say yes or no in the comments. If you decided the #1 way I'm going to get clients is by creating a YouTube video series. So you start it and you record the first few episodes and you're putting them out there consistently, and they only get, maybe you're up to episode 5 or 6, and they're all only maxing out at 10 or 11 views. But your YouTube video series is a 23 episode series, and you're at episode 6, 5 or 6, with only 10 views per episode. How many of you would keep going all the way through till 23 without doing anything else to try to get clients? Yes or no? Yes or no? I would love to know. Honestly, how many of you would keep going? Or how many of you would cut and run and say, I need to do something else. I've done like 6 episodes. I'll keep doing it, but I got to start by putting something else out there. I got to be on LinkedIn. I got to start speaking. I got to start networking. I need to do. How many? Answer the question for me in the comments. I want to know. All right. So here's Paul. He decided after a year of having free clients, pro bono clients, right, for a year, so that he could have the experience, which we've decided is the most important asset, right? Then he said, okay, now the strategy I'm picking to get clients is this YouTube video series, right? And I'm going to do it for 23 episodes. That's going to take like 6 months, and I'm going to do it. And that's all I'm going to do. That's where I'm putting my time, my energy, and attention, because I believe in it, and I know that this is going to get me clients. And then episode 6 hits, and all the episodes so far only have 10 views, right? He doesn't have a paid client. He doesn't have any money, right? He's starting to think, he even said, it was tight. I started thinking, I need money. I need money, right? What's going to happen if I keep doing the remaining 20 or so episodes of this series and like I'm not getting any clients, right? That's going to take more months. Like, and this is where most entrepreneurs cut and run. It's scary. It's uncomfortable. You're not seeing the results that you want. You have a need for money, right? And you're starting to think this strategy isn't producing the results that I want as quickly as I want it, so I'm gonna do something else. Maybe I'll keep doing this, but I'm not gonna do it as well now because all my time, energy, and attention isn't gonna be there. I'm gonna do other things, right? So you guys aren't answering. I mean, I see Becca's answer. But I get it. I get how scary that can be when you want a paid client, or maybe you need money and you've picked the strategy and you're sticking with it and the results aren't coming. It's very hard to stay in it and say, no, I'm going to keep seeing this through because I totally believe that this is going to give me results and I'm not going to do anything else, right? So that's what Paul did. He kept going. He said, no, like I knew that this was going to work. I knew that this was going to bring me my success. I didn't know how, but I knew it was. And I knew even with only 11 people watching each episode, I needed to keep going. So that's the third thing, consistency. He kept going, just like Becca said, consistency is important. Follow through is important because, again, right, it tells your audience what it's going to be like to work with you. If you're not consistent in the strategy that you've picked to get clients, it makes potential clients think you're not going to be consistent with them once they are a client. Does that make sense? You guys getting that? So like, if I tell you that I send out a weekly newsletter and I want you to be on my newsletter list and you're going to hear from me every week, and you get on my newsletter list and then I don't send a newsletter every week, maybe I send a couple and then I stop and then I send a few more and then I kind of miss a couple, that's telling your audience I'm not consistent. And if I'm not consistent with you to get your business, you're going to think I'm not going to be consistent with you once I have your business, even if you don't realize that that's what you're thinking. But clients look to your marketing to be the experience that they can expect once they are your client. And if they don't feel the way that they want to feel as your client through your marketing experience or your pre-client experience, they're not going to hire you to be client, right? So they need to see consistency, right? So the way that I became fully booked with a waiting list and hit 6 figures within a few months of my business when I started date coaching, right? When I first started date coaching, was all of these things. I immediately took free clients, immediately, because I knew experience was my most important asset. And by having clients and having the experience and having the case studies and the testimonials, then I could charge a premium. I did not wait for the ideal client to buy my ideal package at the ideal rate I wanted. No, like I took free clients for all kinds of things so that I could have the experience. That was number one. And that's what Paul did, his year of due diligence, pro bono, right? Number two, right? The number two thing I did was one thing and did it extremely well. So for Paul, that meant his one strategy to get clients was this YouTube video series. And remember, your results are equal to the action. So if you take quality action, you're going to get quality results. If you're taking mediocre action, you're going to get mediocre results. If you're taking inconsistent action, you're going to get inconsistent results. There's a quote I heard. It's one of my favorite quotes. Your money is as consistent as you are. Your flow of money into you and the money that you have is as consistent as you are being consistent in your business, right? Same thing for career, same thing for business, don't care, right? All the same. So he went all in on this video series, even when it looked like it wasn't gonna work, even when it looked like I'm not gonna get clients from it. He did not cut and run. He did not start hedging his bets and start spreading himself over other things. He picked a strategy. He said, I'm gonna do this all the way through to the end, to the last episode, and I'm gonna do it really well. And then I'm going to reevaluate. Then I'm going to see what I'm going to do. Do I do more? Do I pick a different strategy? But I'm going to give it the time to work. I'm going to sit in the discomfort of not getting the results so that I can get the results. That's also what I did. That's the second thing that I did. So the one thing, Lori Ann, yeah, great quote, right? Isn't it? The one thing that I decided to do really well were sales calls. I knew sales calls, those were the thing that were going to get me clients better and above anything else. And I wanted to get really great at sales calls, meaning I knew I had to have sales calls. So my one call to action, my one thing was 100 free calls in 30 days. I wanted to have 100 calls with people, 100 different people, 100 calls in 30 days. And that's all I focused on. That's all I did, right? Everywhere I went was like that. And I only really focused in 2 places, online networking through Facebook and offline networking for the purpose of getting 100 free calls. I didn't tweet, I didn't Instagram, I didn't email out to speak places, I didn't do any of that at that point. I was all in on that strategy, just like Paul was all in on it. And I wasn't getting the clients. A lot of those 100 calls were just like, thank you, this was cool, this was a free call. Thank you, Rita, so much, right? I could have said, oh my God, this isn't working. The first 10 people I talked to didn't hire me. This isn't working. Maybe I need to do something else to get clients. Maybe I need to blah, blah, blah. And then it really wouldn't have worked, right? That was and then the other thing was I only offered one way of working with me. Just like Paul, he offered one way of working with him. So when people did start kind of like that strategy started working, right? They knew that he believed in what he was offering. Just like I said, look, the only way to work with me at the beginning was private coaching. That was it, right? If I had diluted that with 18 other offerings, all I'm saying is I don't actually really think private coaching is going to work. I don't think that you're going to feel like that. I don't think people are going to believe it. Because I didn't believe it, right? That's the signal I would be sending out. I don't actually believe in my private coaching. I don't believe people are going to want it. I don't believe people are going to sign up for it. So I need to offer 18 other things. So then that's the energy they're going to have back, right? That they don't believe in it. And so you need to be all in on the thing so that you can be consistent with it, right? Number 3, I was consistent. I showed up for the calls. I showed up talking about private coaching. I did nothing else, and I did it every single day. Your only job is to show up. At the end of the day, your only job is to show up and show up consistently, right? But whatever you do, so Paul was consistent with his YouTube series. He did not stop it no matter what. He was consistent. He showed up for it. He put his time, energy, and attention into it. I did the same thing for sales calls. I showed up every day for them. I showed up every day asking for them every day, 7 days a week. I put all my energy, all my time, all my attention into them, right? Because then people could, a couple of things. People knew I believed in what I was doing. People could feel that energy because I was all in on it and I didn't dilute it. I didn't jump around to other things. And also, right, people could feel that I'm consistent. And if they feel like that before working with me, they're going to feel like I'm really going to be consistent with them after I'm working with them. If I was not consistent with them, right, before working with them, then they're going to feel like I'm not going to be consistent working with them and they're not going to hire me. So the 3 things I did to get fully booked within 3 months and also to reach 6 figures well before a year was over was this. I took free clients. I then went all in on only one strategy to get clients, to get paid clients, right, which was made easier because I had the free clients. And I showed up consistently for that strategy every single day. And it's just like Paul, right? And that's where Paul's story gets really good. And so again, if you haven't listened to episodes 3 and 4 of my podcast, well, 2, 3, and 4, 2 and 3 are Paul, and 4 is kind of my recap of it. Listen to those, right? But Paul went all in on that modern day. So he took free clients. That was his year of due diligence to make it really comfortable and easy when he started asking for paid clients. He then decided to get paid clients by doing the Modern Day Matchmaker YouTube series, right? Only 11 people were watching those videos. And he kept doing it, right? It was about halfway through, it hadn't changed. Still, only X number of people, 11 people or something, he said, were watching it. One of those people was Oprah Winfrey. One of those people watching Paul's videos was Oprah. And Oprah was looking for a co-host for a show called Lovetown USA, right? Oprah was looking for a co-host for Lovetown USA. So here's how the whole thing went down. Oprah was doing as Oprah does, jetting around on her private jet. And she said out loud to her people on her jet, I'm going to start this show for dating, and it's going to be called Lovetown USA, and I'm looking for a co-host. And one person on the jet said, have you heard of Paul Brunson? And she was like, no, I haven't heard of Paul Brunson. And so the person Googled Paul Brunson. And guess what popped up? The first few episodes of Paul's YouTube series, The Modern Day Matchmaker. And Oprah was like, well, let's watch a few of these, right? So she watched them and she was like, he's kind of good. But you know what? I'm going to bookmark this and I want to see if he's really into this, if he's going to be consistent, or is this a flash in the pan? Is he just going to like do this and then teeter out? Because like only 11 people are watching his video, right? So I want to see, does he keep going? Is he consistent? Does he show up for this? Are they all going to stay this high of quality, right? She liked the videos because they were high quality and she wanted to see, is he going to show up consistently? And are the videos going to stay the same quality? So she watched more. And it was like a little bit over the halfway mark that she ended up calling him or having somebody. I don't think Oprah called him directly, right? The Oprah Winfrey studio called, and Paul said in the interview, he was like, what? No, you're not really Oprah. But no, they were really Oprah. And they wanted him to be a co-host. And he flew in and he got the gig and he was the co-host with Oprah on Lovetown USA, right? So he chose the video series. And he did it extremely well, high quality. And guess what? He got a quality result back. No, like being a co-host with Oprah, come on, that's pretty high quality, right? But Oprah liked the videos because they were high quality. And then she kept watching him to see if he was going to be consistent, if he was really in, was he invested? Did he believe in it? Was he going to show up for it? And because he did, she bet on him because he bet on himself. Does that make sense? By being consistent, even when only 11 people were watching his videos, He bet on himself, and so she bet on him. But here's the kicker. How did Oprah even know? Like, how did this person on Oprah's jet go, oh, Paul Brunson, right? How was it that Oprah ended up watching a video series that only had 11 views? That person on the jet that said, oh, hey, have you heard of Paul Brunson, was one of his free clients during his year of due diligence where he took free clients. He didn't know that. He didn't know that person worked for Oprah. He never knew that until after this, right? So he had a free client and he went all in on that free client as one of his free clients for that first year and gave really great service and really delivered well. And guess what? That person remembered him and thought about him. So when Oprah was like, hey, does anybody like know a person that could be my co-host? That person was like, hey, Paul Brunson, right? So if Paul had never taken free clients, Oprah would have never learned about him. So free clients made Oprah learn about him. If he had not done quality videos and went all in on one strategy, if he had spread himself thin, if he had cut corners, if he had done whatever, she wouldn't have continued watching. And if he had not been consistent, she would not have offered him the interview to come in. And that's how he became the co-host, which boosted his business. Which brings me to kind of my final point, right? And my final point to that is that concept of believing that your success is inevitable, but unattaching from the way it comes to you. Paul knew this video series was going to lead to his success. He knew that 100% hands down. He didn't know how and he didn't know when, but he knew it would. But he was open to however that success came, right? Now, he had done the video series thinking, oh, I'll get clients. People will see the video series and they'll call me and they'll say, hey, Paul, I'd like to work with you. That didn't happen. Right? The success came. It just came in a different way than he thought, right? It didn't come from people seeing the video series and calling him and saying, I'd like to work with you as my matchmaker and my dating coach, right? It came because Oprah had him as a co-host and then he got all his clients, right? Because once you're a co-host with Oprah, it's like game over, right? Like in a good way, right? Like you win Monopoly, right? That's what I mean when I tell people, believe that your success is inevitable, but unattached from how that success will come to you. It could come from the things you're doing. It might come in a totally different way. But the only way the success will come is if you keep showing up for the thing that you picked. Does that make sense? And Katie's like, or Lori says, you never know who's watching you, right? You just never, ever know. But it could have come from some other completely different way, right? It's like I tell people, if you pick like Facebook group, right? Like me, pick a Facebook group, and that's the way you're business. Like, I could get clients directly from you guys, but I might not. If somebody sees something and then refers me to somebody else, and I end up getting on the news because of it, and then clients come to me because of the news, right? Like, it might not come in the way that I think it'll come from my Facebook group. My only job is to show up for the Facebook group because that's the only way success can come at all. Does that make sense? So those are the three things that I did to fill my business, right? These are the three things Paul did. These are the three things Oprah looks for, right? Experience, quality, consistency. Experience, quality, consistency. Experience, quality, consistency. That's it. That's your most important job. The way you do it is by getting the experience for the thing you want before you charge a premium, before you're making the rates you want, before you whatever, so that it makes it easier to get the premium, right? Get some free clients so that you can get paid clients, right? Bring in a person for that high level premium offering at a lower rate or free so that it's easier to get the full paid premium clients, right? Speak for free so that it's easier to speak for money, speak for a lower rate so it's easier to speak for a higher rate, right? Like, do these things, right, to be able to. So get the experience because that makes getting the thing easier. Pick one way of getting clients, one way of getting the speaking, one way, and do it extremely well. If it's Facebook, do Facebook well. If it's LinkedIn, do LinkedIn well. If it's networking, go to 1 or 2 networking groups and network really, really well. Get great at follow-up, get great at relationship building, get great at all this stuff, right? If it's you know, a YouTube video series like Paul, do it and do it really well. Stop spreading yourself thin over all of these different strategies to get clients because you feel like you're doing everything and you're not getting clients. But when you're spreading yourself thin over everything, you're really not doing anything. It's like a general practitioner versus a specialist doctor, right? It's like a general practitioner versus a specialist doctor. Hi, Katie. Hi, Ingrid. Ingrid knows what's up with Paul Brunson. Don't you? Ingrid, I know Ingrid knows what's up with Paul Brunson. But it's like, think about it. A general practitioner is okay, right? Like you go when you're kind of sick and they know how to do like the basic stuff. But if you have a serious disease, if you have, they say you need to go to a specialist, right? You need to go to a specialist. They're like, we know how to do a lot and we know how to do it kind of okay. We can fix your strep throat and we can bandage up your wrist and but if that wrist really, really hurts and you might have carpal tunnel, guess what? You got to go to somebody else, right? Like, hey, if your hormones come back funky, guess what? You got to go to this other person. If you keep having, medical things are so terrible. Like if you keep having a bladder infection, you've got to go to a urologist, right? Like you have to go to a specialist at a certain point, right? Because they only do a little bit and do it okay. So if you have a thing, you're going to go to a specialist. You're going to go to the person that only does that thing and does it extremely well. And you're probably going to pay that person a lot more money and they're going to be easier to find, right? Because they're going to stand out from the pack. Not that you're not going to go to a general practitioner every now and then, but if you really want something, you're going to go to somebody who does it well. It's the same thing with your marketing, right? And the same thing with your offering, okay? So like Ingrid, I don't know if you listen to my new podcast. You need to. Paul Brunson, I interviewed him. He turned into episodes 2 and 3. And then I even talk about him on episode 4. You will love those episodes. He told things, Ingrid, he's never told before. So I know you love Paul. Find the Rita Made Me Do It show, wherever you find your podcasts, and listen to episode 2 and 3. And then I'd love if you could leave a review because Paul is reading all the reviews. But I know you're gonna love it. But do you see what I'm saying about the general practitioner versus the specialist? Right? Are you guys seeing that? So like, instead of being a general practitioner of marketing and doing a lot of things and not doing any one of them well enough to get quality results back, right? Be a specialist in one thing and get the kind of results back that a specialist would get from being a specialist, right? Like pick one thing and do it well and you're going to get the like kind of results from that thing, okay? Ingrid, yes, really. He told things that he's never told anybody. He said, Rita, I'm going to tell you this. I never tell anybody this story, but I'm going to tell you this. So look for the Rita Made Me Do It show. Everybody look for the Rita Made Me Do It show, wherever you find your podcast, but especially on Apple Podcasts, if you have an Apple. And please subscribe. Please download the Ingrid episodes 2 and 3. You're going to love. They blew me. I mean, it was so good, I turned it into 2 episodes, right? It was that good. Paul's always great, but these were really, really good. And for anybody that leaves a written review and does a couple of other things, Paul is doing a special group session, private, for you guys. So look for that post. But do you guys see what I'm saying about the specialist thing? Are you guys getting that? Yeah, so there you go, Ingrid. Apple Podcasts, look for the Rita Made Me Do It show. Look for the Rita Made Me Do It show. Everybody go. Because my next guest for episode 5, she's amazing. I only have really great guests so far. Like everybody from the creator of Power Sheets and owner of Cultivate What Matters to Rachel Albers, who is a stand-up comedian, digital marketer extraordinaire, to Paul Brunson. Like it's a great show. And I'm not just saying that. Like I listen to the show, and I don't usually listen to things I do, because I can't stand my own voice. Isn't that terrible? But anyway, the specialist general practitioner thing. So that's the thing. Pick one way and do it really well and you'll get really great results. Your results are equal to the action, to the quality of action, the amount of action, the type of action. Instead of being okay at a lot of different things to get clients, be really great at one thing and you're going to get a really great result back, right? Paul's proof of that. I'm proof of that. Find the one thing. And then number 3, be consistent with it. Show up every day. Send the signal that you believe in it, that you believe that it works. Other people will believe that it works. Show that you believe that that's the thing and other people will believe that's the thing, right? Then people will feel like I'm consistent with you now, you're going to be consistent with me. Then I'm going to like fall in love with you and I'm going to want to be your client, right? And your customer. So these are the things, right? These are the 3 things: experience, quality, consistency. That's what I did, right? That when people say, Rita, what did you do? That's it. free clients, took free clients to make it easy to get paid clients. Then I wanted paid clients, and I went on one strategy to get the paid clients, and I learned it, and I learned it really well, and I got great results from it because I was able to be consistent by showing up for that strategy every single day, letting people believe in me because I believed in it. I believed in myself. They mirrored that energy back. They became paid clients. That's how Paul Brunson got discovered by Oprah, right? Same thing. He took free clients to make it easy to get paid clients. He picked one strategy. He made it quality. He showed up for it consistently all the time. It was noticed. Oprah found him. And the reason Oprah found him and said yes was because that's what she looks for, is what she told Paul. That's what she looks for to see if somebody's going to be successful, right? Experience and quality and consistency. That's it. So like, let's uncomplicate it all, right? Doesn't that make it easier? Pick one thing, go all in on the one thing, get really great at the one thing for offering one thing. Offer one thing, market it one way, get really great at it, and just show up for that thing all the time. Doesn't that uncomplicate everything? You don't have to do a million things. You just have to do one thing. You have to do it well. Be a specialist in your one offering. Be a specialist in the one way that you get clients. It's scary as hell, guys. It's not easy. It's simple. It's scary because you're going to have to sit there when it looks like the results aren't going to come. But that's what faith is, right? Faith isn't produced by trials. It's not like, oh, I'm having this trial, I'm having this like moment where everything's scary, so now I'm gonna have faith, right? It's like, no, like I have faith and I'm also gonna go through trials. Like, and because of my faith, I'm going to be able to get through the trial because I believe that this thing is gonna work, right? That's what faith is. Faith isn't really faith until it looks like it won't work out, right? Faith isn't faith until it looks like it won't work out. It's not faith, right? If it looks like everything's going to go wonderfully. So the hard part is sitting there and the discomfort and sitting there when you're not seeing results and sticking with it and continuously showing up for it. And that's why you need support. That's why, right? Coach, mastermind group, whatever. Right now, everybody knows I'm filling the final 2 spots for my mastermind group called the 6-Figure CEO Mastermind. This is a group that provides everything you need for success. Private coaching with me and a group session. So 2 private coaching calls a month with me and a group session with 5 other really amazing high achieving women every month, right? Plus CEO planning documents every month, Rita's daily journal prompt, Rita's daily business building action, all eyes, all resources, all things you need to stick with a strategy for 90 days and see it through so you can see results. So we have you pick the one strategy and we all give you all the support, all the resources, all the everything you need to see it through in a quality, consistent way and get quality, consistent results from it, right? I only have 2 spots left because I have 2 groups of 6. 10 people are coming back. That leaves 2 spots open. That's it, right? And it starts the week of the 23rd is when that program starts. That's it, right? Like it starts in the middle of September. These 2 spots are going to go. Guys, next year, because this is like the first time I've ever added private coaching to it and everything, it is my low rate. This is my I need experience. I'm practicing what I teach. I need experience running it in this format. So, right, the investment is low. It's only $1,200 if you pay in full for 90 days of private coaching and group coaching and daily support and everything to see a strategy through. Or I mean, it's $497 if you pay monthly for 3 months, right? It's like $1,500 if you pay monthly, $1,200 if you pay in full. Next year it's not. Next year it's $750 a month, right, for private coaching plus the group. But I haven't done it like this before, not in this way. And so I'm following what I tell you. I'm getting the experience first at a lower rate to make it easier when I start this new way of doing it and marketing it next year, right? So if you think this might be the right fit for you, I'm going to put the link to it. I'll put the link to my 6-Figure CEO group in the comments. Check it out. It's application you have to apply. Applying does not obligate you. It will allow you to see if you're a good fit. And if you are, sign up. These 2 spots are going to go. This is a great way. I mean, private coaching with me is, I've got 1 private coaching spot left for this year, right? And that's it. Private coaching with me is $1,000 a month right now. It's going to be $1,250 next year. It's $1,000 a month to private coach with me. That's 3 private coaching calls a month and unlimited support between. But this program, you get 2 private coaching calls with me a month, unlimited support, and a group, right? You get a group and you get all these planning documents and you get a Facebook group and you get journal prompts and you get, and right now that's $1,200 paid in full. That's $400 a month, right? Or 3 payments of $500. So, and it starts mid-September. So by the time this year, the end of the year, when we get to right before Christmas, you guys have seen a strategy through for 90 days and you have quality, consistent results because you have been quality and consistent with your strategy. And remember, your money is only as consistent as you are. Your results are only as quality as your action, right? So we need to get you experience, quality, and consistent so that by the time the year ends, right, and you're rolling into the next year, you've got all the results you want. So if this is something you think you want, let me know. I'll put the comment in. Go ahead. Like I'll put the link in the comments. Check it out. Message me if you have questions. But this is going to close. This is going to close in about 5 or 6 days, the application, so that I can pick the 2 people and get them in. Applications are processed in the order that they're received. Apply before so that you're in that order, but it doesn't obligate you. You're still free to say no if you decide it's not the right fit for you, okay? All right, guys, I hope this was good. What was your favorite takeaway from today? Let me know. Let me know in the comments below. What was the takeaway? What was the aha? What is something that you're going to do differently? I'm going to type up the link while I'm waiting for you. It's Rita made me do it. 6-figure CEO. Okay, that's the link to it. But I want to know, what's an aha from this whole thing? What's an aha? What's a takeaway? What's something you're going to do different? These 3 things that were the same things. They got me fully booked with a waiting list and hitting 6 figures in less than a year. The same things that Paul Brunson did to build a multi-million-dollar business. The same things that Oprah Winfrey looks for to determine if someone's going to be successful. How is that changing anything for you? I would love to know what an aha, what a takeaway is, what's something you're going to do different. So if you're watching now, please comment and let me know. If you're watching on replay, please comment and let me know, okay? And please find the Rita Made Me Do It show anywhere that you get your podcasts. I'll put links to that too, right? But go to the Apple Podcast app, search the Rita Made Me Do It show, go to Stitcher, go to Spotify, go to all podcasts, play all these places, Google Podcasts. You can just Google the Rita Made Me Do It show. Google Podcasts will come right up. You can play it right in Google. Listen, guys, these episodes are amazing. These are not just interviews. These are interviews in ways that you can implement these things in your business immediately. I'm not giving anything in my podcast that cannot be implemented. That's why after every interview, I do a solo episode where I break it down like this and give you 1 to 3 actions you can take right away to feel an immediate result in your business from the interview. So Paul was episodes 2 and 3, because like Ingrid said, he just throws knowledge like candy and it's amazing. So he had to be 2 episodes and they're worth every word, right? They're worth every word. But if you listen, and then episode 4 breaks that down into ways that you can implement right now in your business to feel immediate results. Katie says, pick something and begin consistent. I love that, Katie. Rashika says, if anyone is on the fence, I would jump in. Oh, thank you. The program is amazing. And I'm glad you think it's worth it. I love my mastermind group. I love it, right? Rashika, my big aha moment is to focus on one thing for the next 90 days. Rashika is in, if you guys have questions, she's in the 6-figure CEO. She hasn't been in this new format of the mastermind. So this will be the first time Rashika is also getting private coaching as well as the group and all of the other resources that are coming with it, right? But it's only going to be better than what it's been. So you can feel free to ask Rashika questions. And Rashika, I'm so glad that you think the podcast will blow your mind. Thank you. I love it. My next guest next Tuesday, like I said, is Rachel Alber. She is a stand-up comedian and a digital marketer who will also blow your mind. And then I will do a solo episode breaking down actionable takeaways for you. And then I've got a couple of really great people, including Laura Casey, who is the owner of Cultivate What Matters, creator of Power Sheets. I'm so excited about that interview, and some other really amazing interviews. So anyway, how many of you think that the mastermind group might be for you? Like, type that in the comments too if you're watching on replay. If you're like, I'm kind of interested, I'm interested in finding out more. Like, again, for 10 people to be returning, so only 2 spots open, right? Like, that's a big deal, right? It's a big deal that 2 spots are open. Sometimes I don't have any open spots in a group. So the fact that 2 are open, I'm really excited. And I think that the group is excited and the groups want to know who their people are going to be. So if you think that that might be something you want, let me know, type it below. I'll get you more information. Check out the link. Check out the Rita Made Me Do It Show podcast. Write a written review. Paul is reading the reviews of episodes 2 and 3. definitely write a written review there, because from the reviews, I'll be picking people for free coaching, but also you're going to get like a private session, like a group session where Paul is joining us, like a, what was that show on MTV? Like the Acoustic Unplugged. It's kind of like that, right? He's going to be in this little virtual setting and answering all of your business questions. It's going to be great. So any questions, let me know. Have a good one. I hope this was insightful. I hope this helped. Message me if you have questions, and I will talk to you next week. Take care, everybody. Bye.